Technology didn't progress at the same rate across the world. A major innovation in one corner of the ancient world might not have appeared in another region until centuries later. That's because there's always a brilliant mind somewhere thinking far beyond their era. We're honoring those visionaries today in this video, packed with mind-blowing early inventions and discoveries. Let's begin our countdown with number 15, Hero of Alexandria's Automatic Theater. Hero of Alexandria, the legendary 1st-century Greek inventor, is known for many ingenious devices, but one of his creations stands above the rest: his automatic theater. It raises the question, did Hero invent mechanical entertainment centuries ahead of its time? His book, Automata, describes a miniature stage designed to perform plays without human actors. The curtains opened and closed autonomously. Figurines glided across the platform, the scenery changed, and simulated thunder roared. All of it was triggered by a single rope, which activated a complex system of gears, pulleys, and counterweights. Hero also sketched a self-propelled cart, an early programmable vehicle, but the automatic theater remains his most ambitious concept. Each mechanism was meticulously designed, functioning as a mechanical sequence rather than a simple trick. For viewers in his era, it must have felt eerie, like watching spirits at work. Today, it's a monument to ancient engineering, revealing how far ahead he was thinking. Number 14, Heliopolis. Sieging a fortified city was no easy and peasy task before the invention of gunpowder or heavy artillery. But for the ancient Greeks, the creation of the Heliopolis gave them a clear advantage. Its origin is debated, but most accounts trace its invention to Pythias of Thessaly over 2,300 years ago, later refined by Epimachus of Athens for the siege of Rhodes in 305 BCE. In form and function, the Heliopolis was a 130-ton wheeled tower armored with iron plates on 3 sides for fire protection. It required more than 3,000 men to haul it into position. Inside were stairs, allowing troops to ascend and descend quickly, launching weapons from 5 separate levels equipped with catapults of varying power. Its fate is uncertain, but 2 records claim its remains were used to construct the Colossus of Rhodes. A second version was built for the siege of Thebes in 292 BCE, proving this towering invention wasn't a one-time marvel. Number 13, Shushtar Hydraulic System. This is the historical water system of Iran. At a glance, it resembles mere stone ruins near a riverbank, but it's far more than an intricate system of tunnels and canals carved into solid rock. This isn't a forgotten village. It's a centuries-old plumbing marvel. Its real creators remain uncertain. Most scholars believe multiple civilizations enhanced it over time. Initial development likely began under Persian ruler Darius the Great, over 2,500 years ago. The oldest canals reroute water from the Karun River into channels feeding the tunnels. Later refinements came from Roman and Mesopotamian influence. The system was still used into the early 20th century to run Shushtar's mills. Though abandoned now, its continuous use for more than 2 millennia is staggering. This network didn't just survive, it evolved. It's a rare example of public infrastructure enduring across empires, continuously shaped and improved without ever losing its function. Number 12, Glass Harmonica. The glass harmonica carries a strange and scary reputation. Some say listening to it for just minutes could disturb your mind. Elegant yet unsettling, it works by gently rubbing the rims of tuned glass bowls to produce tones, much like rubbing a finger around the edge of a water-filled glass. Each bowl is finely tuned, and depending on how it's played, it emits soft hums or piercing frequencies. The instrument is often credited to Irishman Richard Pockrich in 1740, though Galileo referenced a similar concept in his writings from 1638. Pockrich toured widely, and his performances were well attended. However, German musicologist Johann Friedrich Rochlitz later claimed the instrument caused nervous breakdowns, even self-harm in already distressed players. His accounts were likely exaggerated, but the harmonica's tonal range, between 1 and 4 kilohertz, is known to disorient the ear. The sound resonates in a way the brain struggles to locate. Haunting, strange, and ahead of its time, it never truly disappeared. Number 11. Chuño, Inca freeze-dried meals. While today's ready meals are often viewed as modern conveniences, the Inca civilization in the Andes developed a form of freeze-drying centuries ago. Their preserved food, known as chuño, was made by repeatedly freezing and thawing potatoes during the coldest months, usually June and July. Each cycle drew out moisture. Locals would stomp on the potatoes barefoot to squeeze out excess liquid and remove the skins, a method still used in parts of Peru and Bolivia. Though the preparation might sound unappetizing by today's standards, the result was a food that could last up to 10 years. It offered an essential reserve during droughts or harsh winters. Despite its longevity, chuño isn't exactly gourmet. Its smell is often compared to damp socks, and the taste to powdered chalk. That's why it's usually paired with spicy condiments. Still, it's proof that high-altitude preservation methods were mastered long before refrigeration ever existed. Number 10. Borujerd Aqueduct. Well, here is another ancient water system. Back in 2015, archaeologists working in Borujerd, Iran, uncovered an ancient aqueduct beneath the ruins of a historic castle. The site was being excavated ahead of new construction. Most of the aqueduct is built from stone, making precise dating difficult. The exception? Clay pots were found inside the structure that were likely used for water purification. Pottery is typically easy to date. Yet in this case, no confirmed analysis has surfaced. The structure could be as old as 3,000 years. Persia had already built aqueducts by then, drawing groundwater from arid mountain basins. Historians suspect this castle once held a public garden or landscaped space, which might explain the need for advanced water delivery. The design suggests functionality and permanence, carefully arranged stonework meant to last. It's an architectural clue to a vanished past. While the purpose is clearer than the date, the aqueduct stands as one more reminder of ancient Persia's engineering foresight. Number 9. Stone Age boat-building platform. England's coastline has shifted badly over millennia. Off the coast of Yarmouth, submerged 40 feet below the present-day shoreline, lies the remains of an 8,000-year-old wooden platform. Discovered back in 2019, it's considered the oldest known boat-building site in the world. It's also the most intact wooden Stone Age structure ever found in Britain. Built from split timber laid over rounded wood foundations, the craftsmanship was unexpectedly refined. These advanced woodworking techniques weren't thought to have existed in the region until nearly 1,000 years later. At that time, the land extended to the Isle of Wight, still physically attached to continental Europe. Archaeologists now believe this platform was used to build or repair watercraft in what was then dry terrain. As the sea rose, it submerged everything in its path, including this early engineering site. Preservation advocates are pushing for its protection, fearing erosion may eventually destroy one of the region's most remarkable prehistoric structures. Number 8. Roman sewer system in Turkey. Archaeologists uncovered a Roman-era sewer system in Siirt province, southeastern Turkey, back in December of 2020, during excavations at a historic mound in the region's Suir district. Estimated to be around 1,800 years old, the site also includes relics from the Ottoman, Abbasid, Persian, and Umayyad periods. The sewer appears to have been constructed alongside burial chambers and water conduits, also Roman in origin. What stands out most is its immense scale, large enough for a person to stand and walk through without stooping. Its size suggests this wasn't just a minor town system, but one designed for a city of major importance. Why the Romans built such vast underground infrastructure here remains unclear, but its scale speaks volumes about their commitment to hygiene and urban planning. Ironically, centuries later, many European cities lacked even basic drainage systems. This surviving Roman network is a silent testament to engineering standards that were far ahead of their time. What are your thoughts on it? Number 7. Geobuxion. The Koreans held the Geobuxion in such high regard that they kept it in service for 400 years. You might know it better as the turtle ship. These immense naval vessels joined Korea's fleet in the 15th century and remained active until the 19th century. The nickname turtle comes from their shell-like armored plating, designed to protect against Japanese naval assaults. Some historians argue that the Geobuxion was the world's first ironclad warship. Its defining moment came during Japan's invasions of Korea between 1592 and 1598. Under Admiral Yi Sun-sin's command, the turtle ships maintained a perfect battle record. By the late 1700s, at least one version had been upgraded with hexagonal metal plating, as documented in an 1795 illustration discovered by historian Stephen Turnbull. Well, the final fate of the last Geobuxion remains unclear, but full-scale replicas can be seen in Korean museums today, one notably stationed at Tongyong. Number 6. 19th century mechanical arm prosthetic limbs aren't modern inventions. Egyptians and Romans both crafted artificial replacements, though early versions were mostly cosmetic. But in 19th century London, one mechanical arm stood far beyond anything seen before. Constructed from brass and steel, it featured a functioning elbow joint activated by a spring mechanism. The wrist could rotate, shift vertically, and the fingers could clench or release. These movements were controlled by a system of buttons and switches near the shoulder joint, not especially intuitive by today's standards, but groundbreaking at the time. Its complexity and metalwork evoked the aesthetics of steampunk long before the genre existed. Historians believe the wearer may have hidden it beneath a glove, concealing their amputation entirely. While not truly lifelike in motion, this prosthetic wasn't just a visual stand-in. It offered basic mechanical function, proof that 19th century craftsmen were already pursuing solutions far more advanced than rigid wooden limbs. Number 5. Lanzhou water wheel. It may seem odd that the farmlands of Lanzhou, China, once suffered water shortages, especially with the Yellow River flowing nearby. But nature isn't always reliable. These days, the fields thrive thanks to towering water wheels first constructed during the Ming Dynasty in the 14th century. The most iconic is known as the Tiger Wheel or the Heaven Wheel. It's the oldest functional irrigation device still serving the region today. Historians regard it as a landmark of Chinese hydraulic design, both for its practical function and graceful construction. The wheel adjusts to seasonal changes. When river levels rise, the current turns it. When waters fall, a nearby stone dam powers its rotation. The buckets scoop water and release it into a raised wooden tank, which then feeds surrounding crops without any fuel issue. Despite its age, this tech remains relevant, and you can visit the Lanzhou water wheel garden to see all these marvels. Number 4. Seokbingo ice storage. Not every stone structure in Korea is a tomb. Gyeongju's Seokbingo might resemble a burial mound, but it's a stone ice house built for long-term ice storage. Positioned inside the protective walls of Wosong Fortress, its name directly translates to stone ice storage. During the 18th century, foreign visitors marveled at Koreans serving ice in the summer, unaware of how it was preserved. Inside Seokbingo is a chamber where blocks of winter-harvested lake ice were stacked and stored. The underground design insulated the space from outside temperature shifts. The above-ground mound served as insulation and sealed out warm air. Structures like this weren't uncommon across Korea, but Seokbingo remains the best preserved. It didn't rely on complex machinery, just thoughtful engineering and environmental knowledge. Even centuries ago, people here had figured out how to preserve ice year-round without modern refrigeration. A practical marvel, quietly tucked into one of Korea's oldest cultural capitals. Number 3. Mesoamerican rubber balls. If you own a rubber dog toy, its origin story dates back over 3,600 years to ancient Mesoamerica. Archaeological finds confirm that rubber balls were crafted well before other civilizations discovered latex. Though their exact purpose remains unclear, evidence suggests they were used in ritual games, religious ceremonies, and as offerings, sometimes even thrown into sacred bogs. Sizes varied, implying multiple functions. What made this early rubber possible was the local rubber tree, whose sap was combined with the juice of the morning glory vine. This chemical mix stabilized the latex, creating durable, flexible rubber long before industrial vulcanization existed. Later cultures like the Olmec, Maya, and Aztec perfected the technique and used these balls in games such as ulama, which were often violent and ended in ritual sacrifice. While we can't reconstruct the rules of those games, surviving illustrations and court ruins tell us these balls carried symbolic, spiritual, and social weight far beyond play. Number 2. Thunder Crash Bomb. The Thunder Crash Bomb, aka the Heaven-Shaking Bomb, lived up to its name. Built during the Song Dynasty in the 12th century, this early explosive was likely the first true grenade. Its cast-iron casing was packed with gunpowder and fitted with a fuse. Once lit, it exploded with force, spraying metal fragments in every direction. Previous incendiaries existed, but they used soft casings. This design, with its hardened shell, made it deadlier by combining blast force with lethal shrapnel. Some argue that Greek fire preceded it, but Greek fire didn't detonate. The Thunder Crash Bomb changed battlefield tactics. It wasn't just loud and bright, it was terrifying. Records describe enemy troops scattering at the sound. Though cruder than modern explosives, it represented a major shift in warfare. The psychological impact alone gave it power. From this point on, battles were no longer fought only with arrows or blades, but with deafening, blinding force. Number 1. Unique Ondol Heating System. Let's end our journey in South Korea, where an unconventional heating system was unearthed beneath a pavilion at Gyeongbokgung Palace in 2019. The pavilion was constructed during the 19th century, yet the heating infrastructure appears to be significantly older. Precisely dating the technology is difficult. The palace has existed in one form or another since 1392. The heating setup is a modified version of Korea's traditional ondol system, which uses flues and trenches below the floor to channel warm air and smoke from a central hearth throughout the structure. This particular system is unusual. The trenches line the edges of a hexagonal room rather than spreading throughout the entire floor. That layout might have been designed to warm spectators sitting around the perimeter while ice skating events took place in the center. It also lacks a chimney, suggesting the smoke dispersed naturally through the flue system. This subtle architectural deviation adds a curious layer to an otherwise classical design. If you've enjoyed watching this video, please like and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in with us, and we'll see you soon.